Hello, Red Wave. Boise week. Let's go. Welcome to Boyer Bulldogs podcast. My name is Caleb Nail. Joining me, as always, my good friend, Caleb Pletz. Mr. Pletz, how are you doing, man? I know we're recording a little later in the week, so we've had a lot of time to think about it. How's it?
I am doing really well. We've had this game circled on the calendar all year. We knew this was going to be an important game. So I am fired up. Weather's going to be nice. We are getting into some football weather, so you are going to need a jacket at the game. We'll get into the weather later. But Fresno State, very good team. Boise State, they're figuring it out this season. They've had some bumps along the way. We'll get into their schedule. But overall, it should be a really good game. A little bit earlier start, too. 7 o'clock kickoff, so a little bit earlier. So maybe that's good for some people. Overall, it's going to be an excellent Saturday night. I am looking forward to it.
I agree with everything you said other than the 7 o'clock. I'm sorry. It's getting too hard, man, with the kid. It's getting way too hard. The 7:30 game, when I got home at 1:30, oh my gosh, that was wild. I know why we do it, though. How was Halloween?
It was good. Didn't dress up. Went to a friend's house and had some dinner, and didn't pass out candy. So my neighborhood's not a big trick or treating neighborhood.
It's so boring. What the?
Did you get a lot of trick or treaters out to the farm?
Oh, never. No, growing up during Halloween was you dress up and then drive to all your family members and friends,
Right.
and it's 5 minutes to each person that you drive to. So no, we went to spend it with the in-laws. We had a lot of fun, and I did dress up. I did. I can't wait. You better dress up when baby Pletz comes. You're dressing up, man. I'm making sure you are.
Yeah, I think that'll be a different level up for fatherhood. You got to participate in that stuff. So,
number one, Fresno State Bulldogs football fan. That's what you could dress up as. Easy.
Oh yeah, perfect.
And then you just look like Caleb Pletz.
Yeah, or just dress up like Pat Hill, like a lot of people did in the former Bulldog Stadium last game, which honored Coach Hill and getting him in the Ring of Honor. So that's always an option too.
Good point. Well, my light over here is moving. Sorry, you can look at my double chin on YouTube, but that reminds me, subscribe on YouTube, comment down below. Question of the day: where do these new helmets rank against all other Fresno State helmets? So Fresno State is wearing a white helmet with red, white, and blue Bulldog script, and we have the Native American feathers hanging down below the Bulldog script. Comment down below your thoughts on the helmet and where you would rank them against all other Fresno State helmets. Caleb, I get it. I understand. Table Mountain, big supporter, and they have a really cool spot. I do like that. When I'm there, I have a good time. It's Boise week, though, and sometimes I just would love to have red. But cool helmet. I do like it, but sometimes I like to have red, especially against Boise. Oh, what are your thoughts?
I agree. Cool helmet. Nothing wrong with supporting your corporate sponsors, which is very funny for a not-for-profit institution. But I'm sure they planned this. I'm sure they planned this way in advance, so it's okay. But I agree. At home, we should be wearing red hat, red shirt, red pants. Just keep it simple. We're the Red Wave. I mean, if Boise is wearing a white helmet, that's just another potential, mix up for a Fresno State offensive player. So I don't like it. We should wear our home colors at home, but it is cool. It is unique. And, the Fresno State team has been doing a good job this year of, I think, appreciating some of the different cultural, impacts in our area, with, the Table Mountain tribe and, other tribes in the area. And earlier this year with the Spanish language exclusive broadcast, very cool stuff that the school and the program is doing. But as long as it doesn't distract from getting victories on the field, that's fine.
We're just appropriating everyone this year.
Oh yeah, I forgot the culture of farmers and encouraging everyone to wear boots to the game.
This is the only way you can get away with putting feathers or anything related to Native American on your helmet, is if a big sponsor or donor says you can. Cool helmet, though. I do think it's a cool helmet. All right. Let's talk Boise and Fresno State, shall we? Oh, I guess I should say, if you're not on YouTube and subscribed, you can. We go live Sundays at 7 p.m. for a recap. And basketball starts soon. Next week, the 6th, I believe that's Monday, we play FPU. So we're going to be covering that game. It should be a lot of fun. And we're also on X, former Twitter, beware_Bulldogs. We're on Instagram, Beware Bulldogs Podcast. I'm trying to do more on Instagram because I guess the younger crowd's over there. I don't know. I like Twitter and X. That's where the sports world is. But exactly. I know people are on Instagram. I'm working on it, guys. I really am. And YouTube's been a lot of fun as well because you guys, we get to chat with you guys more so on YouTube. So if I'm going to recommend somewhere, you get to talk with us more on YouTube. That's my recommendation. And then we're also on Spotify and iTunes, wherever you're listening. You know all that stuff. Okay, Caleb. Boise State comes into this game 4-4. We just finished speaking with the voice of the Broncos, Bob Beeler. Great guy. Really like him. He said they're a little disappointed with this 4-4 record and that the team is disappointed as well. I would agree with them in saying that I would be disappointed too if I'm a Boise State fan because I'm used to winning. But we've also heard from our coaching staff that they're 3-1 in Mountain West and there's still a lot to play for. When you look at the schedule that they've had, 8 games in, what are your thoughts on the Boise State Broncos coming into Fresno?
It seems like this team is getting stronger now. Early in the season, struggled, tough start against University of Washington. Really good team in the Pac-12. It's going to be difficult for even the best Boise State team to take down Washington coming in week 1. So, that's okay. We'll give them a pass there. Early loss to UCF, surprising. Barely handling San Diego State and the dumpster fire that they are this year. Losing to Memphis, that's not great. Only beating San Jose State by a touchdown, not great. Meltdown against Colorado State, which was so hilarious. That's not great. But they figured it out last week against Wyoming, who's a good Wyoming team. And, the defense showed up. They really stifled Peasley in the rushing attack. And the Boise State offense did very well, even with Ashton Genty getting banged up, which is definitely something to watch out for this week for Fresno State. So I can understand why Boise State fans are disappointed with how the season's gone so far. But at the end of the day, if they win their next 4 games, they have a very legitimate shot to be in the conference championship. So it's definitely not gone. But Fresno State could also put the dagger in their hearts this week, which would be good.
Yeah, whatever team loses this game is going to be really tough for the loser to get in because that's 2 conference losses. And with the now, I will say this. Air Force does play Boise. So if we were to lose this game, we could get some help from Air Force beating Boise. They would have the head-to-head. But, there's a lot of things that can happen. It's a long season, even though, my goodness, we're already on game 9. I think it's week 10, game 9. Holy smokes. So a lot can happen. Handle your business, win this game, and then you're in control from here on out to get into the conference championship, which is huge for either team. And more importantly, our Fresno State Bulldogs. I was not impressed with Boise other than their running game all year long until this Wyoming game. The reason being is because of what they did to us and how we struggled against this Wyoming defense. Boise won 32-7. No struggle whatsoever. The defense was suffocating. They have 2 quarterbacks, and it's kind of like us. I talked a lot of smack on Taylor Green earlier in the season. He looked good against Wyoming. You have Madsen that has come in. He looks good. They kind of have our problem. We have everybody's got 2 pretty good quarterbacks, serviceable quarterbacks that can get the job done. But Boise plays both of them. And Madsen can run. If you didn't listen to our get to know with Bob, he talked about there really is no difference in play calling, play style when either quarterback comes in. Madsen will throw the ball more than Talon Green, but Talon Green had a nice long ball touchdown against Wyoming. Madsen runs the QB draw multiple times a game. So we know Madsen's a better thrower and Green's a better runner, but they don't really change things up much for this offense. So once I saw all that and how they handled Wyoming, now I am a believer that this game's going to be close, like the better say. I think, well, we'll get there. But yeah, it's going to be a great game. Just and after watching those highlights. So anything about the play style from Boise, Caleb, that we should share with the listeners?
Well, just thoughts on the 2 quarterback system. I just keep expecting it to break. I think the old football adage is if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks, or something along those lines. So I'm surprised it's working this well. But if you have a good running game and a good defense, I think that can kind of pick up some of the slack. So I would love to see a game where both Green and Madsen throw interceptions. I think that would be awesome. I think Green is probably more susceptible to that because I think he's about as good of a thrower as maybe the San Diego State quarterback. So, but I guess you were saying that he did have a nice deep ball in the last game, and I didn't get to catch the highlights. So I'm going off of your information there. So that's really still the big question mark for me is how is this 2 quarterback system actually working? And our new friend Bob from Boise State saying, there's not really a drop off when either quarterback comes in. The offense is still able to communicate well and execute well, and it's working just fine. So got to figure out, how that's going to impact this Fresno State defense. It seems like the 2 quarterbacks are pretty similar though. So I don't know if the defense really has to make that much of an adjustment based on which quarterback's in there. It seems like they're pretty much going to be running the same, offense, same system, same plays. I don't know. Do you have a different read on it?
Well, I will say this about Green and Madsen. There's a significant size difference between the two of them. Green is way bigger than Madsen. Now, speaking of the passing game, what I noticed against Wyoming, and my internet's pretty bad, and I'm probably going in and out, so I apologize. Nothing new. G5 Wi-Fi, as we say. Their passing game is very similar to ours. They're going to try and beat you underneath. Short passing game. Short, intermediate passing game. And so I would say you play defense like a lot of teams play defense against us, you're going to have success. You just have to stop the run now. They throw a lot of passes to their running backs out of the backfield. They do a lot of swing stuff, and they're swingers, is what I like to say. And but you get Jainty catching the ball and running downhill on a DB. That's scary. I do not want to tackle him running downhill. So I'm hoping he sits out this game. There's no way he does, but I'm hoping. Just cross fingers here. So they do a lot of that with Helani and Jainty, and then a lot of 8-yard hitches, comebacks, some slants here and there, and then teams have done it to us in the past. Lull you to sleep, and Talon Green takes a shot downfield, and it's one of the better balls he's thrown in his career, and all touchdown. So that's my only. I we'll get to what's going to make us sweat. But that's how I've seen this offense working in the past. But if that running game is going, they're going to rely on the running game, and they will just run you over. I was looking at it. Jainty has 2 games where he's rushed for over 200 yards. That was against San Diego State, who's supposed to have a good run defense. We know they're struggling. And then against Colorado State, they ended up losing that game, but they scored 30 points, and Jainty ran for over 200 yards. This team can do both. They can run and throw the ball. So, very good team. And I actually think this team is better than UNLV, in my opinion. They don't play UNLV, but as of right now, the record doesn't show it, but as of right now, my football eyes tell me this team's playing better than UNLV. So it's going to be a tough game, and we got to be loud. And I have a fun stat for everybody. If you didn't stick around for the end of the get to know, I got a fun stat for you at the end of this one. We're going to make you sweat and everybody dance now. But first, Caleb, I want everybody to go check out Flora Flower Co. Flora Flower Co. is a local flower shop who supports local growers. They're located on Shepherd and Willow, Mondays through Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have bouquets for you. They have a succulent wall. Last time I was there, you can build your own succulent, and they have other gifts that you could put together for loved ones. And there's a florist in-house that will help you create a bouquet if need be. You can order flowers online for pickup, or you can come in person, and they have subscriptions that come with free delivery. You use code Fresno15 at checkout on online or in the store, Fresno, the number 15, for 15% off your purchase. That's Flora Flower Co. Thank you, Flora Flower Co. Also, I want to thank the Vine Church in Fresno on Shaw, just west of Grantland. If you're looking to strengthen your community, or you need support in an area of your life, or you're searching for biblical truth and want to know more about Jesus, come on out to the Vine Sundays, 10 a.m. That's on Shaw, just west of Grantland. And they also have small groups that you can be a part of and prayer nights and things like that. So let me know. I attend there. We have a good time. A lot of kind, welcoming people and a great pastor and a great family there. That's the Vine Church on Shaw, just west of Grantland. Okay, Caleb.
As an expert on sweat and sweating, I may as well be a sweat scientist.
Where in this game are you going to find yourself sweating the most?
I will be sweating if the Boise State offense, and specifically running game, is able to have their way with the Fresno State defense. I'm hoping that Genty is too injured to play. Long term, I wish him good health. I think he could have a very good career. But this game, I would love to see him in street clothes on the sideline, or maybe even not even make the trip if he's that hurt. That would be good for the Bulldogs this week. But if Boise State is able to beat Fresno State by running the ball, it's going to be a long day for Fresno State, and it's going to be a quicker path to success for Boise because I think that their running backs are definitely their strength on their offense. I said in the get to know that if Boise State has to beat Fresno State with the quarterback, I think that's going to be a Fresno State victory. So I'm going to be sweating if it's an easy 200 rushing yard day for Boise. That's not going to be a good formula for Fresno State.
100%. I completely agree with that. I remember talking about this last year. We're going to have to just contain Green. We thought he was going to, the first game they did run all over us. And then for some reason, I don't know what happened and what they were thinking in the championship game. But thank you. But you're exactly right. I'm going to take the same thing. If they're moving the ball on the ground, I'm going to be sweating. I'm going to move to the offensive side of the ball, though, for the Bulldogs. We have to be able to move the ball. If we are going 3 and out, I'm going to say we do pretty well on our first drive. We have a game planned out where we have a hot start most games. But after that, like UNLV, if we go punt, 3 or 4 punts in a row, 3 and outs, maybe you get 1 first down and then punt, I'm going to start sweating because this defense is very good. They looked very good against Wyoming. Wyoming doesn't have the players and the quarterback that we have, and we have had great second half adjustments, I should say. But there's just something about this defense. They look really good, and I would say they're faster than Wyoming, in my opinion. So I would love to have our offense be in rhythm. Let's not go 3 and out. Oh, heck, let's not punt. We didn't see Carson for a while there on our winning streak. I love you, Carson, but if I don't see you on the field, we're doing well. So I would love to not punt. So, but yes, I'm going to be sweating if we cannot move the ball and we are getting ran all over by Ashton Janty and Helwani. I can't believe they have both of those guys. They're good. Should mention we have a lot of new people tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. I had a question asked the other day. What's up with this sweating and dancing thing? I don't get it. My fault. I have not made it clear. Caleb and I, we are the CNC Fresno State Football Factory. There is the CNC Music Factory that sings the song Gonna Make You Sweat, or as everyone else knows it, Everybody Dance Now. So we run with that. Unfortunately, we can't play any of the song on here. Otherwise, we're going to have some copyright issues. So that's why.
But we can have Borat sing it for us.
Yeah. Everybody dance now. There you go. Everybody dance now. Everybody dance now, Caleb. What is going to make you dance? And by the way, we will be dancing if we beat Boise. Some things have come up from you guys. Thanks a lot. And we will dance if we beat Boise. So it means that much to us. We also haven't had the milk can here in a long time. We beat them in the championship, but we haven't beat them in the game for the milk can. I would much rather have the Mountain West Championship trophy. Don't get me wrong, but I want the milk can this year. Caleb, what's going to make you dance on Saturday?
I'll be dancing if the Fresno State defense is able to force 3 turnovers. I think that's going to be, well, it'll lead into, the keys of the game. But if we're looking back to last year in the Mountain West Championship game, Fresno State's early success came off of turnovers and, special team success with the Nico Remigio punt return and then an interception, short field, touchdown, and, making it so that way the offense doesn't have to do a ton to be able to convert into points. So I think if Fresno State is able to force 3 turnovers, that'll definitely put Fresno State in a position to succeed, score on short field, and just put the offense in a position where they can succeed. I keep repeating myself, but the Fresno State offense has been struggling going down the full length of the field. So I think if we can eliminate that, it'll definitely be making me dance.
I like it. You know where I'm going, everybody. Kickoff return, touchdown, please. Until the day I die, or until we take one back. This is what I want. Kickoff return for a touchdown. I will dance. By the way, your turnovers, they did muff a punt against Wyoming. So there we go. Carson's going to put some spin on that ball or spit on it or something to make it a little different. And I did watch Talon Green fumble in the red zone. They were going down there about to score, and Talon Green kept it and fumbled. So it's possible. The quarterbacks, they don't protect the ball like the other guys. If we can get him outside and hit him, there's a high possibility of a fumble. And I like that. Three turnovers is huge. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take no interceptions from Mikey Keene. If Mikey Keene can have a perfect day, that means we've had no problems, or that means we ran the ball a lot. And either of those I'm happy with. So I want no interceptions from Mikey Keene. Yes, he threw 4 touchdowns against UNLV. But there was just some throws that he forced and balls got tipped and things like that. And we can't have that in this game. So if Mikey Keene is perfect, I will dance. And if we have a kickoff return for a touchdown, I will dance. Keys to this game, Caleb, other than those things, I would add a clean pocket for Mikey Keene. Bob, Boise's, the Broncos, the voice of the Broncos, mentioned that he would be worried if Mikey Keene has a lot of time to throw and there's no pressure. We watched UNLV drop, 8 guys into coverage to handle that. And they didn't bring a whole lot of pressure. They did bring some, but when they dropped 3 guys, they were successful. Either way, Mikey Keene's got to be perfect. And then when they do bring the blitz, there's got to be a lot of pressure on the O-line to keep him upright. He's got a banged up ankle. We don't want him forcing any throws. my key to the game is one of them is for this O-line to keep Mikey upright and keep him and keep a clean pocket. The other thing that you could say, and I know a lot of people have been saying, is that when things do get out of hand within the pocket, that Mikey steps up in the pocket. Or if instead of, rolling out and chucking it away, maybe we look downfield and do some other things, which are very valid and I agree with. But if we keep a clean pocket, we don't have to worry about those things. So what are some of your keys to the game?
One of them has to do with Fresno State running the ball. It's been a bit of a struggle this season. And so I was curious what you think. Is there a certain number of yards that Fresno State needs to achieve rushing the ball that would, I don't want to say guarantee, but that would make a victory much more likely? Do you have a certain number of yards in mind? Because the number I wrote down was very low. I said if Malik Sherrod rushes for 75 yards, I think that can translate into a Fresno State victory. Because
I agree.
Last week against UNLV, I think he had 50-something yards on like 18 carries. So not good. But I think if he can get to 75 yards rushing, just Malik, I think that can translate enough of a balanced attack to where it can open up passing a little bit, and Fresno State offense can do enough. So, what's your number?
I like that. I think the 75 is good, and I hope that Gilliam or someone else gets some touches to put us over the 100-yard mark for total rushing yards. So I would say 100 total, and if Malik can get 75 of those, that's huge, and that'll change the game plan for the offense, and that's going to keep the Boise State defense on their toes. I like that. And go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think throwing the ball on offense, is there going to be any type of change between hitting Malik, check down, the short stuff? How is Coach McCann going to be able to create some plays or some matchup opportunities for Fresno State receivers to get open down the field? Because it seems like the playbook so far, opposing teams know that they can kind of take away some of the intermediate passing game, just force the dump off. So that wasn't necessarily an area of success for Fresno State last week. So how is Coach McCann able to overcome that and get his playmakers in areas and where they're open on the field, so that way Mikey has easy throws?
I mean, the number one thing is you have to be able to run the ball. You have because play action is your best friend in those cases. Otherwise, I don't have to move. Well, I'm just gonna sit there and make you beat me, or so. And you can't get it. You're getting the ball out quick. So really, if I'm watching film, and I'm not the best at watching film, but I'm moving with Mikey's eyes because most of the time he's got one look and then check down. So I'm moving with his eyes first look, and most of the time it's not going 2, 3, 4. So it's going check down. So I'm moving with his first look, and then and then going check down. So on defense, so you have to be able to run the ball so that you can run play action, get guys to take 2, 3 steps forward, and then hit them over the top. That's we're going to move linebackers up to closer to the line of scrimmage when you run a play action. You fake the handoff. So that's the easiest way to do it. It makes it really difficult on a quarterback when you can't run the ball and you have to throw the ball to move it, and they know it. That's really hard. So, and they're gonna disguise different things. They're gonna bluff blitzes, and they're gonna make things hard on Mikey. So, I think number one thing is got to run the ball, and that scares me a little bit. That makes me sweat a little bit.
Definitely. So my final key to the game is Fresno State linebackers. Are they going to be able to take down the Boise State running backs like at first contact? Because these running backs are really good. They're slippery. They're able to run through contact. So how is the Fresno State, specifically linebackers, able to address that? Fresno State has had some poor tackling games so far. They've also had some good tackling games. I think the most recent game against UNLV, I would categorize in a good tackling game. For the most part, guys were not really getting past first contact, and Fresno State defenders were swarming to the ball. So if there's a repeat performance of that, and Lavelle Bailey has a monster game and is just eating up tackles, I think that is going to be a huge key for this Fresno State defense.
I agree. Yeah. There was a play against UNLV where Malachi Langley just lit up the dude from UNLV and kind of said, all right, welcome to Fresno, buddy. Malachi's going to have to do that against Boise and just crush Jainty. If they shadow him or, do something with a linebacker over the top of him, that linebacker is going to get tired and bruised. It's just the nature of football. And we're 9 games in. We're already beat up. So multiple guys are going to have to do that. Luckily, we have the boys to do it. You have Malachi, Lavelle, Ray Scott, and Coach Coyle at the press conference mentioned to a CV has been playing both, doing edge and linebacker. I'm curious to see where he lines up against Boise with this running attack. We saw, more of him than I think I've seen this last game. So I am interested in that. You're right. That's huge. The other thing that I'm going to add is the DBs. So when they run those swing passes to the outside to Jainty and Helani and Dubar, their rookie running back, who's very fast, when they run outside, that leaves our secondary to make the tackles. And those guys are going to have to step up. So there can't be missed tackles from Comstock. We know Braca's been banged up. I think he sat out of practice. So I'm sure he'll play, but he's beat up. So we need Comstock, Braca, safeties. Dean Clark's got to be there. You got to be all around the ball, making tackles, wrapping up. And then you have Carlton, who we know can do that. And then Alzillian, he's going to have his work cut out for him. He's going to have to step up as well. So those guys are going to have to wrap up and make some big plays against some good running backs that can move in open space. And Jainty just tries to run you over, which is not fun. So, yeah, tackling, I think, has to be a key to this game. And then offensively, we have to keep Mikey upright and not turn the ball over. And I think, be a threat on the ground. So there's a lot. That's a lot. And then I will add, we have been very good on special teams. We mentioned it in the recap on UNLV. We've been almost perfect on special teams. Other than the return game, we would like to see a little more. But we get in field goal range, and we don't convert. We knock the field goal through. We flip the field, punting the ball, and we have good coverage. I think that's great. And then, hey, kickoff return for a touchdown, baby. I have to speak it into existence. I can't say it enough. So,
love it.
Yeah, special teams, I think we're going to be fine, but there can't be any mistakes ever on special teams. And this is one of those games. All right, we're going to get to weather, TV, spread. But first, we're going to read some of our sponsors, but I did want to give a shout out to Rick. Rick is a volunteer golf cart driver at Fresno State football games, and he listens to us. And so, Rick, thank you. And thank you for driving us around the stadium. And he's a volunteer, so he doesn't get paid to do it. He's at the South Gate. And so if you guys are ever at the South Gate, we're going to have to run by and say hi to Rick. But make sure you say hi to Rick. He's driving a golf cart around, and he's doing some good work because that stadium is, we all know, it's tough to move around in.
I mean, that's got to be a tough job too, because especially when there's a lot of people on the ramps going up, they're always walking in the golf cart lane too. So they're, hitting their little horn, and I'm sure that people are yelling at him. So thank you, Rick, for your service. The people that need the golf cart definitely appreciate it.
I wonder how many times Rick has yelled at me to get out of the way. Probably a lot. I'm sorry, Rick. All right. Caleb, can you let everybody know about some of our sponsors?
Absolutely. Yeah. Before we get to game day information, first we need to thank Eastie's Wood Shop. It is gift giving season, so you definitely want to check out Eastie's Wood Shop for your custom woodworking and home decor needs. Let them bring your ideas to life. You can check out shopew.store send them a message, and you can look at their line of personalized gifts for the holiday season. Let them know what you're thinking, what you need customized, and they can make it happen. So they have some really cool items on there. Definitely go check out that website. Use the code BEWARE for 15% off your first purchase. And again, the website is shopew.store. And we want to thank Easties for his support of Beware of Bulldogs. And we also want to thank ManageX for their support. They're a full-service property management company. They service single-family homes, small multifamily complexes, office and industrial properties as well. They've been in business in Fresno since 1978, and they're big supporters of Fresno State and Beware of Bulldogs. So if you need property management services, you can check out their website, managex.net.
Thank you, kid. All right. And you don't get to quit. Sorry, man. What's the weather looking like? And where, if you're not in Fresno and you're not able to attend the game, where can people find this game?
Definitely. So a little bit earlier kickoff, like we mentioned earlier, 7 p.m. kickoff. It will be broadcast on CBS Sports Net. Obviously on the radio too, Bulldog Sports Net work with Paul, Pat, and Cam. They're always great on the call. So 7 p.m. kickoff. At kickoff, it should be in the high 60s, I think. 67 is the guess. The high on the day is 79. So still, relatively warm during the day. So should be beautiful in the evening at former Bulldog Stadium. So no excuse to not show up, but definitely bring a jacket. I think you'll need it. So those are the important things. Looking at the numbers here, Fresno State is favored. They've been favored out of the gate. Started at 3 points. Now it's moved down to 2.5 points. Fresno State is favored. So I think the over-under is right now 54.5. So how are you feeling about the spread and the over-under?
I think the spread is about right. I like it at 3. I mean, I'm not touching it. That's for sure. If I'm a betting man, not touching this game at all, unless you're that confident that Fresno State's going to win. If Boise State's going to win, don't even think about it. But I mean, I'm not touching it. The over-under, I guess, I respect. I don't think that either defense is going to have the. Let me put it this way. I think both offenses will be able to move the ball. They'll find some success. I do worry about Fresno State running game. I will say I think there's going to be a lot of possessions by each team in this game. I don't think there's going to be, I don't think Boise and Fresno we're going to hold the ball for 7 minutes or 9 minutes each drive. I don't know. It's a beautiful night. There should be no problem with the crowd going crazy. What are your thoughts on the spread and the over-under?
I think there's a high likelihood of it being a one-score game this year so far.
Mm-hmm.
Fresno State has 5 one-score games and 3 blowouts. So against a good opponent, I would expect a one-score game. So that's probably where I would put my money. But, that could be, 1 to 8 points. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a close game, though. Point total, I have no idea. Usually those guys are correct. So I think that's probably a good guess for what the total point was. I think that last game against UNLV, I think the over-under was like right on the money because the point total was 55 points scoring the game. And I think that the over-under was like 54. So those guys know what they're doing in Las Vegas. So I'm not going to pick against them. But I will make my prediction now for this game.
Yes,
I
let's hear
think
it.
so. Fresno State's going to win this game, obviously. I am definitely concerned. I think it's going to be a tough game, and the things that we've outlined in the keys to the game are going to have to happen, I think, for this team to be able to win. Fresno State needs to score 30 points to win this game. Boise State coming in, I think the last 6 games, they have scored 30 points. Even in their losses, they've put up 30 points. So I think that needs to be kind of the benchmark of where the offense needs to be. Defense is going to do its job, but Fresno State 31, Boise State 25 is my guess. Boise State tends to have some weird scores with lots of field goals or safety or 2-point conversion. So 31-25 is my guess. I'm
going to go 34-27 Dogs. 34-27. My goal is to remember my pick by the end. And I'm going to put it on Twitter and make sure you guys get your scores in as well. Because I remembered something we did last year, Caleb. And that's if someone guessed the correct score line, we would send them stuff.
Oh.
And no one got it last year. Thank goodness. So maybe I'll do it for this game.
Okay.
I don't know if I have anything to send you, but so no promises there. But we'll see if someone gets it right. When we're not getting anything out, someone will probably get it right. Yeah, close game, 1-score game. I don't think it's definitely not a blowout in this game unless there's an injury or the quarterback has a bad game or a lot of fumbles. Something crazy happens. So, interesting. I do want to mention. I have it written down here. Nope, I don't have it written down. Well, we'll move on. When we talk about the crowd, and when Tedford talks about the crowd, as he did in his press conference, he mentioned that he would like for us to be loud on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down. And 4th down if they're out there. Not when we're on offense. Don't do the wave, anything like that. They're making a point to let us know. So I talked to some friends in the statistical department at Fresno State to find out how many false starts were committed by the opposing team in former Bulldog Stadium this year. And we can count them on our single on perfect time to freeze. That is 4 false starts by opposing teams. 3 of those 4 false starts in a former Bulldog Stadium were committed by Kent State. So we have our job to do. That is be loud. We need to force more false starts. My next goal is to figure out delay of games because that's on us. So we can harp on the kids, the players, and the coaches all we want. Now it's our job. Only 4 false starts. We got to be louder. And I don't think there's been too many delay games either. We need to be way louder. Student section, I'm looking at you. If you're in the student section, I expect you to be loud and crazy. Look, you're going to have plenty of time to party afterwards. There's no reason to leave early. I was a student there. When you're in college, you can party all night. Party in the student section. There's no reason to leave early. Okay, there's my 2 cents to the students. Caleb, get your West Side red seats packed, man.
I will do my best because it's a sellout, and I sure hope that everyone shows up because even Coach Hill and Paul, Pat, and Cam usually do a game preview every week. They put it out on socials, and that was the main topic of this week's video was getting fans into the stadium early, so that way it's intimidating when the opponent comes down the ramp, and we're cheering on every down on defense, and then we're being quiet on offense. And we're not doing the wave on offense. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. And I usually yell in my section when we're trying to wave on offense. So I think we're making some progress here as a fan base, but I think we can spin this and look at it in a positive way. Maybe we
please.
just have so many new fans that are new to Fresno State football that they just don't know the traditions and expectations of the crowd. So I think having videos put out by Coach Hill and Coach Tedford mentioning it even, I think that helps with setting the expectation of what it means to be a fan in attendance at the Fresno State football game.
That makes a lot of sense. But I think specifically about the students because when we were students, we never sat down, we never left. Well, I don't get it, but it makes sense now because those are all the COVID kids in high school. They got to go talk to people. They never look. So you might have to sacrifice a drink until like 3 or 4 o'clock. Boo-hoo. You're fine. You can make up for it after the game. Don't worry. All right. That's it. I'm going to look into delay of games for us, but I'm going to have a ticker from here on out. for false starts at least. And then when I find delay games, we'll add it. But only 4 false starts have been committed by the opposing team in Valley Children's Stadium, former Bulldog Stadium. So we gotta change that. We gotta change it. All right. Anything else, Caleb, that we need to talk about on this game to preview?
I think we've just about covered it. Fresno State offense needs to take care of the ball. Defense, a lot of pressure on them to control the Boise State running game. So lots of different keys to the game, but we kind of have the roadmap here. And I trust our coaching staff. I think Coach Coyle has shown that he is able to figure out teams like this. And especially having 2 games against Boise State last year, same coaching staff for the most part. So I think that Coach Coyle is going to have something dialed up. It's going to be an opportunity for Coach McCann to show what he can do on the offensive side of the ball. So it should be a great game. It's always fun when Boise comes to town, and it's going to be even better when Fresno State pulls out the victory.
I agree. 34-27 Dogs on my end. I will add Fresno State had about 50 recruits at the UNLV game, and we did get a commit during the week. He's a DB, and so we're adding to our DB room. I also want to add Devontae Adams is finally free in Vegas. Josh McDaniels, that was wild, wasn't it? I'm happy that all of that happened finally, but the ownership really needs to figure out how to own a football team, how that works. Anyways, I don't know the numbers and I'm not smart enough for all that, but I do know when a team is bad, and they were bad. So I'm happy for Devontae, and even Hunter Renfrow might actually get some looks this weekend. Also, I saw Michael Walker signed with a team. I believe it was the Steelers.
I think it was.
Yeah, so he and Perales are in Pittsburgh right now. So we're creating a pipeline to Pittsburgh Steelers for edge rushers.
Perfect.
All right, we're going to get out of here so that you guys can get back to work or have fun, whatever you're doing. Thank you so much. We will see you guys Saturday. I do want to give a big thank you to Bulldog Sports Properties, the local Learfield multimedia rights team, making this the official fan podcast of Fresno State Athletics. Big shout out to Rob DeSoto and Ryan Palmer. They've been a big help this year, and they take my phone calls whenever I call. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Stay safe, everybody. Stay healthy. God bless you guys. And as always, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.